Okay guys, so today we're going to talk about rearranging formulas. We used to call it solving one variable for another, but I actually like rearranging formulas a lot better. So in these examples, we're going to solve for the variable that's highlighted. So we're going to use our inverse operations and all the things that we know about solving for a variable to now solve for a variable in terms of another variable, or to rearrange formulas as stated before. So now we're going to solve for A. The first thing we need to do is to move this 5a from the left side of the equal sign to the right side of the equal sign. So what I'm going to do is subtract 5x. And I'm going to subtract 5x because it is originally positive, so the inverse operation would either to make it a negative or to subtract. So when we subtract 5x from both sides, we get a equals minus 5x plus y. Y was originally positive, so y stays positive. We're subtracting 5x from both sides, so we subtracted 5x from both sides. Now, it doesn't matter the order. You could have easily written a equals y minus 5x, and that means the exact same thing. Next example, our next example is 3, and in parentheses we have x plus y plus z. First thing we have to do is to distribute our 3. So we're going to go 3 times x, 3 times y, 3 times z. And in this one, we're solving for our y. So we're going to have w equals, oh man, that's a terrible w. Let's erase that. W equals 3x plus 3y plus 3z. And we're still solving for y. So we need to move 3w and 3z to the other side of the equal sign. So we're going to subtract 3x, and we're going to be left with w minus 3x equals 3y plus 3z. But we still have a 3 with the y and a 3z on that side. So we're going to continue. We're going to continue on another slide. And on this slide, we're going to have, now we're going to subtract 3z from both sides. And why are we subtracting 3z? Because it is positive, so the inverse operation is going to be to make it negative or to subtract. So we're going to end up with w minus 3x minus 3z equals 3y. Now the 3 is directly beside the y, and what operation is that? Yes, multiplication. So what are we going to do as its inverse? Division. So we're going to divide by 3 on both sides. Now, if we divide by 3 on the left side, we end up with w divided by 3 minus, let me erase this, my line got a little out of hand, minus 3 divided by 3, which is 1, so minus x, minus 3 divided by 3, which is another 1, which is minus z, equals y. And that's our answer. And this is one of the more difficult problems for students, and I think it's all because it has multiplication, and the inverse is division. Now here we're going to solve for h. Now, one thing to remember is that when you have double variables, you can do the division together. But let's start with our original step, or with step 1. And step 1 is going to be to get rid of this 1/3. So we're going to do the inverse operation of 1/3, which is to multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply this side by 3 over 1. And the same thing on this side, multiply by 3 over 1. So we end up with 3v equals L, W, and H. So now this is what I was saying about the dividing multiple variables at the same time. Since this is all L times W times H, you can divide by LW. And when you divide by LW, you get 3V divided by LW, and I should erase that sign, equals H. And this is your final answer of 3V divided by LW equals H. Now, if you have any questions, make sure you post them on the blog. Have a good evening.